Hey folks, welcome back to Car Show and Tell. I'm your host, Tim the Toolman, and we are back working on our 87 Corvette C4. And I'm going to start the radio replacement part of this idea. So, that's what it came with. The old Delco Bose 2-ohm cassette stereo, right? And so this is what was in the car when I bought it. It worked perfectly well, minus a little bit of static when you move these switches. But anywho, I wanted something a little more modern, a little more capable, but it needed to look. It didn't need to. I didn't want it to look out of place. Okay. A lot of newer stereos. You look at an old car and you see a new stereo in the dash. There's something about it. This, to me, it looks out of place there. And these GM cars, there's no way to put it nicely. They're fucking weird, right? They get a weird sized radio. I don't know why they decided to do this. Don't do what everybody else is doing. We're going to do something completely different, right? So they have this radio size that they put in here. It's not quite a DIN-sized radio like everybody else has. This is weird. It's a little wider and it's much fatter than a normal, regular DIN-sized car radio. And it's not quite double DIN, and it's not quite DIN and a half. It's weird. So trying to find something that looks fine in the dashboard can be a bit tricky. There's that company, I can't remember what the name of it is, but they make radios for classic cars, and they're styled to look like a classic car radio, but it's modern technology and it's Bluetooth and it's all that and a bag of chips. And I can't think of the company name, but there was a couple of those that looked like they were close and might have looked right, but it's not what I went with. Ultimately, I took a slightly more unique and personal detour to this. And that's what I came up with. It's just a different GM radio. It's another Delco Gold Bose thing. So it'll work with the Bose amps that are in all the speakers in the car. This just came out of either a Cadillac or an Oldsmobile. You could get, I think, you could get this radio. It's a couple of years newer than the cassette tape deck that car came with, but it is pretty much of the same style and appearance as a late 80s, early 90s radio would take. So I get the feeling I can put this in the dashboard and it's going to look perfectly normal there. It's got one little addition. It's got a Bluetooth module wired in. If you couldn't tell by the big floppy switch wire that's coming out of it. Got an adapter harness to go into the car. It's all wired up. Got an antenna adapter. That's ready to go. And you might be able to see inside of there. You can see the Bluetooth module just tucked in there and out of place, where there was some room for it. Holy crap. And that was all courtesy of that guy. So if you want to get something along the same lines, get a hold of him. Come on, focus. Come on. if you can read that. Of course, it's backwards. I just took a closer look at the screen. Hold on. Let's try. Just ignore the mess on my table. Come on. Come on. There you go. That's the eBay ID and email. They prefer you reach out to them by email. Okay? That's who hooked me up with all this. Did the conversion, the Bluetooth module, because I really didn't have the time to do that. It's not too difficult to do. If you want to take it on yourself, there's some other videos on here that'll show you how and where to do that. So, without any further ado, let's start to get this installed. So we're going to move along out to the car, see what that takes. Okay, we're in the car. I also have the, well, besides having the old radio out, I've got the climate control unit out of the bottom here too, so that I have more access to these wires for the radio. We have a bunch of different connectors here, and one of them we won't be using anymore, this one. Anyhow, I'm going to hook this up and I'm going to run the switch wire for the Bluetooth module. So I think I'm going to initially come through here, there's room, and then we'll go from there. So let me see if I can't get this thing slid into place. I don't know if I can lock this in somewhere where you guys will see or not. That might be as good as I can do. Alright. There's just so much plastic here. I don't know what to do with all of it. We've got the mounts transferred from our old radio to our new one, and our locating pin on the back that's going to fit into there. So let's get this thing down through here first. There's lots of extra. What a shit show. I mean, what fun I'm having. This is absolutely hilarious. Funny fun time. Okay. Our adapter for the antenna. Get that plugged in. Now, let's see here. Nope. That one is you. You go there. Right? And then we need a wire for our amps. That is this one. I guess it don't matter which way it goes. That's plugged in. Now, black. That connector goes there. And then get back up here. God damn it. Now, this. The white goes in the middle. Black goes on the bottom. White goes on the middle. If it'll connect, come on. Blue goes at the top. Boy. Wow. Connectors have come such a long way. Ain't that great? Move this stuff back here. out of the road. Out of the way. There we go. Make that all fit back there. Oh well, we got a time. It's 1:01, apparently. There. Yeah, that's gonna have to be routed differently. Okay. Let's try this a different way. This has first got to go back and around this. Then it can come forward. So. Try to keep it underneath the climate control wiring. And back out. Here we go. And of course it's getting caught up on something. Because why wouldn't it? There we go. Now, maybe this will fit back in here. Look at that. She's in. I wonder if it works. Power. Ooh, my antenna went up. That's a good sign. It's got a CD in it. Somebody left a CD in this thing in the junkyard, and now it's playing. I have no idea what it's playing, but I'm probably about to get canceled for copyright stuff. Where the hell's the eject button? There. Eject. Well, I can't tell you who that is because it's on a CDR. So, there we go. I don't know whose CD it is, but whoever left your junkyard or your CD in a Cadillac or an Oldsmobile in the Texas junkyard, I have it now, and you can't have it back. All right. I mean, it appears to work. Seek AM, FM. AM. FM 98.1, yeah, anything. Let me switch this. Ha! So that's our switch for our Bluetooth module. That's a little Prince. Okay. Anyway, we got
Truck Series circuit. WeatherGuard is the official sponsor of the safety and security work crews at Speedway Motorsports tracks across the country. Engineered to meet the demands from job sites to race sites. WeatherGuard truck boxes featured double welded seals, weather-tight seals, and high security latches and locks. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard. Learn more at weatherguard.com/truck.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
Let's turn that off. Well, we know it works. Now I have to get the rest of this switch installed in a nondescript place before I put these fasteners back in here. So let's move on. Okay, I took the liberty of making a couple of holes down here. A hole right here, big enough that I could get this switch pushed through, and then I pulled these two switches up out of the way. I'll pull this one too, and I'm going to try to route this wire through here, and it means that I can make it reach the center console, and once it's in the center console, I can secure it. I really thought that was going to fit through there. Come on. Damn. Well, let me get... I'm going to pause this. I have my reamer, so let me see if I can't ream this hole that I made large enough to make that fit through. Okay, here we are. Got our cable routed through there, through the hole that we made. Sorry, let me steady this here. Underneath, work through this opening for one mirror switch, right? To get it in here and turned. Work through the opening for this switch to get it further along this way to the other side of the console. Under this mirror switch to get it turned again, to go back. And then along the side of our panel here with a pair of hemostats until we're able to squeeze it through a little 1/4-inch hole inside of our center console. Now, so there's that. I don't remember which way is which, but one way is radio and one way is Bluetooth. And then everybody always asks me, what are these tiny little combination wrenches for? Times like these. So I got a hold of it with a pair of hemostats. I'm just going to tighten that down, just snug, and then I'm going to take some clear nail polish, and I'm going to paint around this nut with the clear nail polish. It tends to work its way into the threads there and act as sort of a thread locking compound, so that switch won't come back out of the console. So there you have it. I'm going to get that done, and then I'm going to pull the slack of the cable back up through here and tidy it up underneath where the climate control unit goes. Okay, whoops, whoop. There we go. We're back in the car. It was a little bit of a struggle to get this trim bezel on, but eventually it went on. Originally, the old radio didn't stick past. It didn't stick out here like this one does. Okay, it had a it had a flat face like this. Okay, and this one has a face that's sort of proud of the chassis of the radio. It sticks out and it fills in this bezel. Okay, and it was a struggle to get the original bezel to fit around this radio, but it did go eventually. I could tuck this side in here, and then I had to sort of flex, so you can kind of flex this side out a little bit and force it to go around this edge of the radio and then tuck in here where it's supposed to. But it's in and it fits and it looks like a factory radio. Well, because it is a factory radio. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, here's a look at the dashboard with that Cadillac radio in. And to me, that looks factory. Like it came there from the dealership showroom. So, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's how I feel. Alright, we're going to move on and do some speakers. First, we're going to do the fronts, and then I got a little bit of something different in the back. Okay? Hang tight. Alright, so, we got our radio in.
Hello.
And it's making noise. My son's just wiping the dashboard down before we put all the plastics back on it. But,
hello, YouTube.
All I wanted to say real quick is, I wouldn't call Bose stuff audiophile quality componentry or anything of that nature. But, I will say this. It sounds surprisingly good.
With just stuff it has in it now.
With just the 30-some-year-old stock speakers that are still in the car.
It sounds really, really
It actually sounds better than the cassette player that was in the car already. So I guess in the span of a couple of years, I don't know, maybe they made a couple of improvements to the head units. But it could be just speculation. So I will say that Bose did pave the way a bit for doing more with less, essentially. Like I said, the speakers aren't particularly audiophile quality. They're just paper cone speakers. But it sounds pretty good for what it is. For being 30-some years old, I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised at how that sounds. And so is my son. He thinks it sounds pretty good too.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crisp.
It is.
Yeah.
Amazingly. But we're not done there. Those speakers being 30-some years old, I did want to do a somewhat of an upgrade. So those are the speaker size and the doors in the rear of this thing are a proprietary size and shape. In other words, you can get adapters to put normal, quote-unquote, what I would call normal sized car stereo speakers in, but you don't actually have to. This outfit, Power Base, sells the exact same size speakers that fit into the factory locations, and they are 2 ohm rated for the Bose system. So figured while I'm here, why not pick up some of these and give them a shot. So this is what we're going to do for the front. It really looks like the same thing that's in the car now, but the cone material is I would say a better quality cone material than the paper Bose speakers that are in there. So I'm going to quit yapping, and I'm going to set the camera up to show you guys what it takes to put speakers in the doors. Alright, here's our door. Now, you guys don't have to have your door apart to do this. You can do this with the door panel on. All you have to do is take the 4 screws out that hold the speaker bezel over top of the door panel, and then you have plenty of access. I just happen to have this door apart already for some other repairs, but while I'm in here, let's do this. So, these are 1/4-inch screws that hold this together. And you can take these 3 screws right out. And then, oh, come on. And we just have a little plastic grill over here. And save your screws and that little plastic grill guard or speaker guard, I guess. We'll save those right quick. Pop this right out. Remove our spade connectors. And I'm assuming, let me check the polarity between the old and the new speaker. So, let's see here. The polarity between the old speaker and the new speaker. The thin connector is positive, the fat connector is negative. And these are backwards. The thin connector is negative, the fat connector is positive. So, let me clip these off and reverse them. I'm going to need some different spade terminals. Yep, that's definitely backwards from what the Bose speaker is marked. So, let me pause this. I'm just going to use some crimp terminals and reverse that. Alright, so I clipped the small terminal off this side. I'm going to just strip about 1/4 of an inch of the insulation off here. There we go. And then take my crimp terminal, slide the crimp terminal over the wire. Oops. Alright. And I'm going to crimp this bugger on here. As tight as I can get it. Make sure it's tight. Yep, it's moving.
I'm going to use the bathroom real fast. Okay?
Okay. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to get these things to grab the wire tightly. This tool's made to crimp insulated terminals, and these aren't. So, that sucker's still loose. Sometimes you can just put it in here and really mash it. Alright, put this one off here. Now I need a skinny one. Throw that away. Come here. I have an insulated terminal for that side. So, you don't want to go too thin on your stripper, right? And strip off more wire rather than just insulation. There we go. So that's reversed. Now we have our new speaker, and it comes with a new gasket to put down here over the back side. So just peel the backing off the adhesive and put it down over. There. Stick that down. Okay. Find one of my screws. I'm going to put this back on. Put my screws down through. Okay. Now, slide our terminals over the terminals on the speaker. Make sure you use the right sized terminals. I don't know if I have to say that or not, but I better, so people know. And stick this back in here. My wrench go, my 1/4 inch drive, there we go. Might be in your way while I line this up. Start these by hand. Okay. Set that to the on. Tighten my screws. This is just a plastic housing, so I'm just going to snug it up, and there we go. I'm not going to go too tight. And I'm going to put my plastics back in the dashboard and put my door back together here, and then we'll pick up in the rear. Okay, we're at the back of the car here. And I told you we were going to do a little something different. The back of these cars has the same size speaker as what's in the door. One of these in a different enclosure that fits up into a pocket here. We're going to do something a little different. I bought a set of those. That's the same company that made the speakers that went in the front door, power base, except that these are 6x9 triaxial speakers, and a big difference between this and the other triaxial speakers on the market is that this is a 2-ohm speaker. See it marked right there on the magnet. These are 2-ohm resistance speakers, so you can operate them. They will function in they'll function in conjunction with the factory Bose amplifiers, and they'll work just fine. However, Chevrolet, in their infinite wisdom, made their 6x9 rear speakers slightly different than the size of everybody else's 6x9 rear speakers. So I went on to Amazon and I bought a pair of these. This was like, I don't know, 30 bucks or something for the pair. This is just 1/4 inch, some sort of 1/4 inch plastic sheet. They sell them on Amazon, and these are made to fit an IS300, Lexus IS300 6x9 speaker adapters, but they'll work for our application here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make those work. I'm sweaty and itchy. Pardon me. Alright, grab a drill. The first thing we're going to do is remove this grill. 4 screws. Come on. Come on out of there. Here we go. All right. Set our grill off to the side. And also, if I didn't mention it, these are going to fit in place underneath the grills and, I'm sorry, the stock grills and the stock carpet. And nobody's going to know they're even there. Okay? There we go. Pull our carpet back so we can reach our Bose enclosure. What a mess. First thing I want to do is unplug this. This is the amplifier connector. Hold on. Come on. Okay, one tab. It's over. And these things are fun, except they're not, because this is 1/4 inch. All the Bose screws are 1/4 inch, and all the Chevrolet screws are 7mm. So expect to be jumping back and forth between a bunch of tools. Not a bunch of tools, but you know, nearly the exact same size socket, except that it's not. What piece go that I took out of here? You see the little adapter? You see the little adapter?
Which one?
For a socket.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, right there. Okay. So I need 1/4 inch. Alright, we'll just take this speaker out. The ones in the back aren't in as bad a shape as the ones in the front. But still, we're gonna upgrade. Okay. Put our 7mm on here. And the 4 inside screws are the ones that hold this Bose enclosure in. And then the 4 outer ones hold this 6x9 speaker, I don't know what you want to call it, speaker and grill plate into the back of the car. Okay. Now, here's our grill plate. We're going to set that aside for a moment. This is the Bose enclosure that just comes right out. And the next thing we're going to do is take all the screws out of here and retrieve our amp. So we need to put our 1/4-inch drive back on, because why use the same size screws when we can use something that's almost exactly the same but not. Come on over here. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's just 9. Alright, now we got our 2 halves. Set that aside, and there's 4 more screws that just hold this amplifier inside of here. So we're going to retrieve these. And this amp is all we're going to be after in here. And we're going to leave it stuck to this aluminum plate. Not aluminum, plastic. It's only plastic. Getting carried away with myself here. Okay. Now.
It's gonna fall.
Huh?
It's gonna fall.
Okay. Whatever you want to do with these plastic Bose enclosures, if you get rid of them, it's up to you. Alright. Just kind of straighten these out. I need my crimp connectors. We're going to change the speaker leads that come off of this amplifier. So first I need to find 2 quality amp incorporated solderless butt connectors. And we've got to reverse the polarity of this. So orange is positive, green is negative, and on our speaker that we're going to put in, it's the opposite way. Our positive is our wide spade connector, and our negative is our thin spade connector, so we're going to have to reverse this. So all I'm going to do is clip these. Come on. Right off the end of there. And I can already hear somebody screaming, "No! Solder that," right? You shouldn't be using solderless butt connections or solderless butt terminals for radio connections, right? I can already hear people screaming that. Well, here's my thoughts on this. My father, who was an amp engineer, worked for Amp Incorporated till he retired. I remember when I was young and I was doing some sort of radio install into something else, and I had the soldering gun out and the shrink tube and the wiring, and he looked at me and he said, "What are you doing that for?" He said, "Just grab some crimp connectors and crimp it together." And I said, "Well, but everybody says you're not supposed to use crimp connectors for radio terminals, or, you know, radio wiring, stereo wiring. It's unprofessional." shouldn't be using crimp connectors. And he looked at me and he said, boy, if they're good enough to be used in airplanes, they're good enough to be used in your goddamn radio. So I didn't argue with him. Okay, now here's one of the pigtails that's supplied with the speakers to lengthen the wiring harness, should you need to do that. I don't need all 12 inches of that. So I'm going to split that down a little bit. Black is my negative. So I'll strip this back about 5/16, 3/8 of an inch. Little mo. About 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Give the end of my wire a wee twist. And I'll take my amplifier. I'm going to get the negative into the negative side. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
My negative into my negative side. Give it a crimp in a couple of places. Make sure that solderless butt connector is securely mashed around the wire. And like I said, I am using genuine AMP incorporated solderless terminals. This is not a sponsored statement. As a matter of fact, these were stolen en masse by my father when he worked there decades ago. So I still have a supply of them left. Kind of gives you an indication of how many of these things he made off with. But he knew that I do a lot of wiring and that I was going to need some, so he made sure to take plenty for me. We're going to pause and we'll be right back for a minute.
Go.
Okay, we're back here in our rear speaker pocket. I just took the dust buster and swept this out, and the only thing I'm going to do to keep these amplifiers in place is I've got a couple of strips of 3M double-sided tape. If you have any experience with RC cars, you know this stuff will pretty much hold down whatever you need most of the time. 60% of the time it works all the time, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're trying to do that math right now, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Doesn't make any sense.
60% of the time works every time. Yeah, if you know what movie that's from, leave a comment. Suffice it to say, it's a bit of a classic by now. Okay, so we've got our extended speaker wires. We've got our plugs in there. And this pocket goes back a ways and then tucks back towards the back of the car. So I'm just going to bring this back and set it back in here, kind of in the back side of this pocket where it flattens out. And just push down on it and stick the tape down. Okay, we can twist this and reconnect it, and that's how our amp's gonna ride. Right there, we got enough. We can hook up our speaker. Okay, here's our speaker holder slash grill thing. Grill holder thinger. It has got a crack in this corner and it's old. We've got to make a change to this because right here where these indentations are, that's where Chevy bolted in their 6x9 speakers, and this template has regular holes drilled here and here and here and here for 6x9 speakers, and one of the two, it's not matching up. Okay, so we've got some, when we hold these two speaker things, when we hold our adapter to the back of our grill, whatever, our bracket, our factory bracket, it covers up the factory 6x9 holes. So, or the aftermarket 6x9 holes. So what we've actually got to do is take this and make a modification. Just slice through the remaining part of the plastic between Chevy's 6x9 holes and the inside of this bracket here at every bolt hole. Just cut that out, cut that out, cut that out, cut that out. So if you want to come over here, you got it? Yep. I'm just going to fire up the Dremel, slice that right out of there. It's easier to do it on this side. Nobody will see that. And then...
Nobody's gonna know.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. And I take my little radius tool
Reamer.
for all the melted plastic on the edges, right? And I just shave that stuff right off.
It doesn't like this spot over here. It's
Or
sunny.
you can... Oh, the camera doesn't.
Not really.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Right
Take
there.
my reamer tool. Just use it to shave off the little goops of melted plastic. Okay. That one's done. That one's done. I missed that one. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Whoa. Let's come over here, son. And
Okay, Father.
I'm gonna grab that and this and these.
Oh, that's right. You're gonna do this
I'm
part.
gonna do the work right here.
Do you need my help again?
I don't right now, but I just need you to keep filming.
Okay. Sorry.
Now, I'm going to use the installation screws that came with the 6x9s because they've got a nice, they've got a wider head on them, you know, to lock them down. And then 4 of these speed nuts on the back side. What I'm actually going to do is break those speed nuts. And I only want the half. I don't want the half with the big hole. I want the half that's made for the screw to go through. Yep. I won't be able to get it back open. Watch.
Yeah, like a flat blade or something.
Come on, it should just snap. Of course it won't now that the camera's running. If it did that, all 4 of these snapped right off. Oh, there we go. So that's the only half that I want. So just go ahead and pause that while I snap the rest of these.
Okay.
Okay. So, get off there. Let's see. It goes in this way. I want this to go whoop, that way.
Careful.
Okay. And then we're actually going to take this ring and apply it to the bottom. Get it aligned. Right?
Okay.
Doesn't act like it wants to line up now. Okay. So effectively what we're doing is we're going to clamp this grill bezel in between our speaker and our plastic plate on the bottom, using the 4 supplied screws. And dang me, I didn't change this. And the half of our speed nuts that we broke off here. So let me get one of these on here and I will show you how we're going to do that. Okay, we'll start with this hole here. I knew I was going to do that. Let me try starting the screw. We're going to run the screw through the mount hole in the speaker down into our IS300 adapter bracket, and I feel a little bit sticking out. I'm going to take this middle half, I'm going to apply it over the point of that screw, if it's that at all possible. There we go.
You want to hold that?
I got it, honey. Oh, crap.
Drop it.
Likely. Do you see it?
I don't.
Well, we'll have to edit this.
Yep.
Or not. I'll break another clip.
Okay. Something's always gonna go wrong.
Yeah. Is that paused?
No. I'll go ahead and pause it.
Okay. This is going to be somewhat difficult to manage here. So I'm going to hold the bottom of that clip with 2 fingers, not over the point of my screw, and just tighten it like so. Move to the opposite corner. Start this one. Place our clip over the end.
Okay, sorry.
Tighten it down. And I'll do that on the other 2 as well, but we can pause that while I get that finished. I think you guys understand the principles. Okay, so we've got our GM bracket, or sandwich between our speaker and our speaker adapter here. The unfortunate byproduct of this adapter means it's going to space our speaker bracket 1/4 of an inch away from the inside of the car, which is no big deal. It's just getting covered up with carpet again, and the grill and the screws are going back in. So it's not going to appear to be any different than it was originally. Nobody's going to know the difference. Nobody's going to know. So the adapter that's on the bottom right now does partially obstruct the 2 holes here that hold the Chevrolet bracket into the car. So I'm just getting a drill bit. I have a 1/4 inch drill bit on here. Let me switch batteries and just drill those 2 holes out without punching a hole in my speaker. And like this. And there we have it. That'll go back in the car. So, we have our amp installed, or what we want to call a lousy excuse for an amp. Say what you will about Bose, and I've said it before. I'll never call Bose audiophile quality stuff. But they're smart. They know what they're doing. They figured out how to do more with less or something. They're brilliant engineers, and if you don't believe me, look up the Bose Sound Project, or Project Sound, I think it might have been called.
Yep, Project Sound.
And They took two identical Lexus cars. It was a Bose suspension system. And it was electromagnetically controlled. And they installed the thing on a Lexus sedan. And they had an identical Lexus sedan to compare it to. Just go watch the tests. You'll be surprised at what they were capable of achieving. So if they only apply, if they apply those same principles to the work they do with their sound making products, then no wonder the stuff sounds good. Okay, we plugged our speaker in. Now here's the tough part. Our adapter does leave a gap, right, for us to tuck our wiring in. We've just got to find whichever spot we want to tuck our wiring behind or between the adapter and the chassis. It's going to leave some 1/4 inch gaps around the edge of it, so it's no big deal. And we can just lay this back in here. Right now. Why doesn't this one fit? The other side fit.
There we go.
What did you say, my good son? Is that it? Okay, that's it. Okay. Is it lined up with the...
One second.
He's not lined up with the screw holes.
Hang on. Didn't you have to like cut part of the...
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you had
Pour
to.
that out.
You had to cut part of the.
Yes, I forgot. I got to cut part of this away to get the speaker to sit low enough. So.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
And it's itchy stuff. There's fiberglass in it or something.
Well, it's basically this entire fiberglass. Yeah.
You don't have to cut much out.
Just enough to fit.
Okay. So wedge something in here and peel it up. Get it off the floor of the car. I'm tearing most of it. Good grief. I cut the other side. This side's like more brittle. This side's more brittle. It's just tearing out. I think that's why I didn't. Yeah, that's why I ran the dust buster on the other side. Okay, hold on. Let's not stick to the speaker, please. These things do have massively sized magnets for what they are. Do you know how that works? The less resistance the speaker has, the larger the magnet need be or something? Is that how that works? I don't know. There we go. Stick that back down, back there. Tuck our wires back in. Oh, look at that.
It fits.
My eyes suck. Where's the... There it is.
Yeah, you got it.
If it fits, it ships. And it fits. And we can barely get our Chevy bolts that held it all in. Just grab the 4 best looking ones of those, and there's just enough thread length that you can get those to go back in and hold that speaker and the adapter and all of that mess in place.
Ugh.
Hey.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. I can't.
Oh. I can't say. Can't see the fastener hole up here. You want to pause that? Go get your. Oh, never mind. That might be it. Nope, that's not it. You
Okay.
pause that. Get one of your lights.
Okay, sure. One go.
Never mind. I found that. So that takes our 7mm fasteners. And just run those in by hand. Okay, I don't know how anybody else adapts 6x9s to go in the back of these things. I'm guessing the people that, I don't know if the non-Bose equipped cars had different speaker brackets or not. I would imagine they would have all had the same bracket. It looks like the Bose enclosures were just adapted to this bracket in the back, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how anybody else adapts 6x9s back here, but that's how I figured out how to do it. So if you got a better idea, let me know in the comments.
Actually, don't, because you might go back and fix it.
Huh?
Actually, don't, because you might go back and fix it.
No. This is as much fun as I wanted to have today doing this.
Fun.
Yeah. Okay. Now we will tuck our carpet back in. It's supposed to go back up under here.
It's a little finicky.
Why do I have the producers on my Mel Brooks movies? Where, oh, where was he? Where could that man be? Oh my. I don't care what anybody says. The Mel Gibson version. Mel Gibson. The Mel Brooks version.
You're losing your mind.
I'm losing my mind. The original version from the 60s was way better than the remake with Nathan Lane and all them guys in. Okay. Our carpet tucked back in. Okay. Our bracket is still, you know, where it used to be. It's just up a little ways. So
Which
we
screws
can just
are you
use our
using?
witness marks. We can use our witness marks in the carpet from where our bracket used to be.
And just line it back up and screw it in.
And let me get my power tool. Oh God, it's a sweaty day.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Now, these all went in perfectly on the other side, didn't they? Watching none of them go in over here. That's exactly. How hard did I have to struggle on the other side?
Not very hard.
Not. They all pretty much went right in.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the camera's rolling,
Nothing wants to go in.
nothing wants to go back. Come on, you prick. Fucker. And that's why my YouTube channel says not made for kids. that's where it needs to be.
Hey, look.
Does it look like I'm having any luck?
Okay.
Well, I'm just asking you. There we go.
Okay, cool. Yep, looks like you're having luck.
Well, went through the carpet. Didn't go into the speaker bracket. Well, anywho, we'll go ahead and pause while I fiddle with this, trying to find the holes in the speaker bracket that hold the screws for the grill. It's going to take a little while. Needless to say, feel around. Eventually, we'll find them. Okay.
All right.
Pause. Okay, there we have it. Our speaker's back in. Our grill's back in place. And we got what? A new radio that looks period appropriate. Works with the Bose. New front speakers, new rear speakers. I can't say that the rear speakers are any louder than the old Bose ones were, but I do think the high notes are a little more I don't know how I want to describe it.
Noticeable.
Maybe. Noticeable. The cymbals and things like that. Crash cymbals, ride cymbals, what you call it. They're all that still comes out. Alright, cool. But they're all a little more crisp, a little more clear. So not bad. And nobody noticed. Nobody will notice that anything really is not original. If you got a sharp eye and you know your Delco radios well, you'll know that CD player never came in the car. And it certainly never came with Bluetooth, but at least we got a little bit of an upgrade. We can stream music from the phone. We can listen to tunes and whatever. I can cruise down the road listening to Kaminsky or some other synth pop, pretending it's 1988 again, and enjoy that little fantasy. But without being completely obnoxious with our music. It's plenty loud enough, clear enough, and it sounds good enough for me. So I am not an audiophile by any means. I like good music, and as long as I can hear it well, that's good enough for me. So I don't know if anybody wants to necessarily copy the same thing that I did, but you're more than welcome to. It's easy, it's pretty cost efficient. I mean, who knows, if you tear all the Bose out, and you can probably find a way to cram like a double din Bluetooth nav stereo combination CD player, whatever, in the dash, and that would work just as well. If that's how you get your jollies. And you know, I wanted something that wasn't out of place, and that certainly seemed like, you know, that radio is still in place. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm done talking. So wanted to thank you guys for joining me. I'm Tim Toolman. This is Car Show and Tell, and like, subscribe. At one point that might have helped us out, but we're probably beyond any help now. So hope you learned something today, what to do, what not to do. Either way, we hope you join in the next time. We're going to be I've got more brake parts on the way for the back end. We're going to be doing big brakes for the back end of this car, for less than 300 bucks. I'm going to say less than 300 bucks. Asterisk. There's an asterisk there. Okay? But tune in next time and we'll see if we can make that happen. Or if my plans blow up in my face like they normally do. Either way, we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.